Now, when it comes to questions, you've heard it said that there is no such thing as a stupid question. But there are definitely things such as bad and good questions. So here's some examples of bad questions. It is not working. That's not actually a question, but you might be surprised how often I get that. I did exactly what you did, but it doesn't work. Okay, again, not a question, something I see all the time though, and it doesn't tell me anything because if you actually did exactly as I did, then it would be working because when I did it, it worked. So that doesn't give me any usable information. I'm getting an error when I run my game. How can I fix it? So this is a little better. It's actually a question. They tell me they're getting an error, but if I don't have the error, there's not a whole lot I can do because it could be one of 1,000 different things. So these are examples of bad questions because I am unable to answer the question or statement because you don't give enough information. Or I don't. Sometimes I'm really bad at asking questions too. Here are some good questions. I'm getting an error, variable not initialized on line 13 with variable my name. Why? Okay, so there's something specific. It tells me the line, you tell me it's a variable, you tell me the actual error that's happening, and you want to know what's going on. I can answer this question with pretty certain specifics and help you find a solution there. That's awesome. Second one, when I collide with a solid, I move straight through it, but only while running on the left. What's happening? So we're going to tackle collisions when we are moving characters, and this is going to be something that you might run into. And this is a pretty good question. It does help me. It could do a little more information, but I can probably guide you to what you need to do based on this, because there's enough information on it. And I want to give you some examples of what great questions include. The full error message. Now, when I say error message, what I mean is, so if you try to run this, we're going to look at errors more specifically in a little bit. But if I try to run this right now, because I misspelled a variable, I'm going to get an error. This is an error message right here. And if you copy this whole thing and you paste that in there, that is helpful. I'll be able to tell you exactly what went wrong with your code or game if you do that. Screenshots of your code is also very helpful. And then as much detail as you can. Really, you cannot include too much detail. Assuming that it is relevant, the amount of detail you add will only help the person answering. So, why am I going over all this? Well, as a designer, your goal is to get people to work together. But to get people to work together, you have to understand why it's not working, what each person wants. Maybe their goals are the same, but they can't communicate that. You have to be able to draw out of the people you work with exactly what's going on so that you can fix it. And when you can ask good questions, you'll get better answers. So asking questions is a skill, and as a game designer, if that's what you want to become or do, then you've got to ask great questions, both when you're looking for help yourself and when you're trying to solve problems amongst people or groups or whatever the case is. Asking questions is a skill. The more you do it, the more you practice, the better you're going to get. So I highly encourage you, both for you and for me as we're going through this course, ask great questions. Give me lots of details, include the examples, and tell me what is going on and what's not working exactly. It'll be better for you, and it'll be better for me. So what we covered in this module was, what is a game designer? What is a game programmer? What's the difference? We looked at GameMaker Studio 2 and what it can do. I introduced you to what makes up a 2D game, how to make a sprite, create an object, and we started to code. We looked at all the events that you can put into your game and how it all fits together to start creating something. In the next module, what we're going to do is start working on a Snake-like game. If you ever played Snake the old school game that used to be on every single phone ever. We're going to make something similar to that. It's going to be really fun, and we're going to have a lot of really good discussion on how to design a game and what that means and what that looks like. That's going to be coming up in the next module.